Welcome back to the channel. Today we will be diving into the world of Infinite Warfare Zombies, also known as one of the most underrated zombies experiences to date, well at least for the first handful of maps. After that, I'd say it becomes a little bit more fairly rated. Infinite Warfare released in 2016 under the development of Infinity Ward and was the immediate follow-up to the smash hit that was Black Ops 3. And as I always say on my streams, at The Real Fighting Line 1 over on Twitch, if you never gave this game a solid try, please go play the first couple maps with an open mind and I guarantee you'll have a fun time. But with that introduction out of the way, why don't we kick things off with 3 things I'd change about each IW zombie map. Zombies in Spaceland. A neon-lit amusement park in the 1980s full of all the fun and excitement you could expect. First of all, this map perfectly captures the feeling of fighting off the horde of undead in this space. This was a great first outing for the mode as a whole. From the soundtrack to the gameplay, this just worked on so many levels. In fact, this map is so well designed it's really hard for me to come up with things I'd want to change to begin with. But why don't we give it a shot? The Alien Blasters. The wonder weapons of this map come in the form of 4 alien toy blasters that can be acquired from a fairly simple quest or through the box if playing on Director's Cut. And these are really fun, and for most players will get them through most of their games as they are effective through around the mid-40s. However, after that it feels incredibly weak. Upping the damage and ammo would be a good change as well as making it easier to affect multiple zombies with a single shot. Now, if you're able to pack-a-punch it, it will take you a little further, but it still doesn't feel as powerful as it should be. But you can't pack-a-punch it without beating the boss. Unlike the other maps, which feature alien-fused side Easter eggs to access double pack-a-punch, this map requires you to have beaten the main Easter egg in that game. And I feel like that is too much of an ask for players, which conveniently leads into my next point. Double Pack-a-Punch. Double Pack-a-Punch becomes a necessity very quickly in this game as the zombies' health seems to scale at an insane rate. Either that or just about every weapon in the game has low damage. But my point in all this being that Double Pack-a-Punch shouldn't be some impossible thing to achieve. Really, I don't think you should have had to take any extra steps to Pack-a-Punch twice. But as this is the oddball in terms of allowing you to double pack, I'd rather fix this map-specific problem than something that is more of a general mode complaint. Simply adding a side Easter egg to obtain alien fuses earlier than defeating the boss would make this map feel much better in my opinion. Portals. This map heavily takes from the Derice design in terms of overall layout. You have your spawn and hub, and 3 branches reaching out from it. Obviously, Spaceland is much larger and has more paths to traverse, but the main mode is the portals. However, unlike the Derice teleporters, you can't try to take the portal as an emergency route most of the time, as for some reason you have to wait for the portal to charge up for a few seconds before you're able to access it. Now, if we are leaving the portals as their current function where it allows quick travel back to the hub, then just take away this warm-up time. But I have another idea. What if by interacting with a panel next to the portal, you could set the destination where you would arrive at, allowing you to access pack from any portal and allowing you to better traverse the map in the event of a teammate going down on the opposite side of the map. Maybe that would have been a little bit too much going on the technical side, but I think it would have helped the portals out a lot. Maybe that's too much to ask for, but I would just tweak these portals one way or the other. Rave in the Redwoods. My personal favorite map of the IW bunch, which I know is a controversial statement, but I'll say it. I feel that there are a few things that this map does to make me like it just a little bit more than Spaceland. This summer camp gone awry is a wonderful time. Just like with Spaceland, I feel so immersed in this setting the developers set out to create. Deep in the woods, bordering a lake with bats flying overhead and a perfectly crafted eerie map. Contrasted with the intense and vibrant rave vision, it just works so well. But let's drum up some changes to this 90s field party gone wrong. The Trap-O-Matic. Let the broken record spin once more. The wonder weapons of this map are 4 elemental variants, with one exception, in terms of theming as well as effectiveness. The Trap-O-Matic, the black sheep of the Vlad crossbow upgrades. Where the others create miniature thunder gun effects or acid rain patches, this one is dual wield and requires you to shoot at the ground to create a Home Alone style trap that is just too weak to justify this setup. I'd completely scrap this version and make one about some other element to make it more sensible among its other varieties, and make it similar in strength so that in a 4-person game, if everyone so chooses, they can each have one that feels relatively the same in strength. The Smiley. The weapon of the slasher, the boss of this map that you hardly see in a given game, which could be another point, but I'll leave that one be. But this buzzsaw with the ability to dispatch the dead through melee or by launching blades. Unfortunately, meleeing takes ammo, and it easily gets you into trouble being that close to the enemies. Not to mention without Director's Cut, you can't pick it up until you've beaten the Easter egg in that game. Personally, I just make it to where it's something you can pick up from the power room in a game regardless of Easter egg completion. It would make it seem much more fair for what this weapon actually is. Underutilized Rave Vision. This is a smaller complaint, but I really wish that there was more of an incentive to utilize the Rave Vision. Given that it is core to the theming of the map, yet the only incentives are for unlocking the crossbow cabinet and the ability to rack up more points while it's active, I just feel like there should have been more here to highlight such a unique and standout feature of the map. Shaolin Shuffle. This is where I personally felt that Infinity Ward had lost the magic that they had been building. This map just didn't click for me, and if I'm being entirely honest, it's the map I've probably played the least besides maybe the last map, but at this point I'm not so sure. This map just felt sort of half-baked for the most part, and I just don't love the grimy side of New York theming of the map. But I think with some tweaks I can make this map substantially more enjoyable. The Katana. This weapon can be purchased from the Black Cat Dojo as a reward for beating the Easter egg of the map. For just 10,000 points, this folded steel instrument of death can be yours, and it's pretty effective on its own. But when you pack-a-punch it, that's where the real magic happens. With every third swing of the blade, an energy spirit emerges traveling in a straight line doing infinite damage, which is an impressive feat, and it does feature a decent amount of ammo for this attack. But my only problem is that every third swing will force the attack to go off, and I really wish there was a different control binding to choose when you actually want to use the attack, because sometimes I just want to swing the katana regularly, especially if there aren't enough zombies to warrant using this high-powered attack. Karate Zombies. I'll keep this brief because we all know the terror of these Cobra Kai fueled zombies that they added to this map. They are some of the most aggressive and lethal special zombies to date. If I had it my way, I would completely remove them from the map, but if we have to keep them, they definitely need a reduction of damage and spawn rate, because in a given game, I will go down to these guys more than anything else on the map. The token system. In Spaceland, we were introduced to the token system, whereby combining various tokens dropped from zombies at prize machines, we'd be rewarded with specific prizes in the form of deployable items such as a sentry turret. Rave kept this similar by switching the tokens to gems and the prize machines to totems, but their functionality remained the same. However, in this map, they made the system more convoluted and I hardly ever utilize it, which adds to my feeling of this map missing things that I enjoyed. Changing this to be like the other maps would help the map not only on its own, but also feel more at home in the lineup. Attack of the Radioactive Thing. Let me set the scene for you. 1953, Sonova Beach, California, where crab monsters begin arriving on the shore after being spawned from the back of the Krogzilla that is currently assaulting a cargo ship off the bay. Accompanied by Elvira, our four characters try to acquire a PhD in chemistry to delete Krogzilla from the timeline. But with that story synopsis out of the way, let's talk about the actual game. Fast travel system. This map is absolutely a contender for having the worst fast travel system in Zombies history. It requires far too much setup and really feels limited on how much utility you can actually get from it. Personally, 9 times out of 10 when I'm playing this map, I don't even bother with it. Just replacing this system with a more convenient portal system or a Wonder Sphere type device would really improve the player experience. Doors. This is a complaint that I debated listing because there's only a few examples of it, but I feel like players run into it enough to warrant it being talked about. But the amount of doors on this map with some questionable prices is ridiculous, especially in reference to the bridge doors, which collectively cost 4,000 points to cross. I just think reducing some of these prices would benefit play. After all, it's not like these doors take you somewhere you can't otherwise get to, so a convenience charge being that high is a bit intense for the general flow of the map. Traps. These are in the same boat as the fast travel pads for me. I just don't bother repairing most of the traps in a session. On top of not being the most convenient traps we've seen, the fact that you have to retrieve a part just to use them in the first place is a nuisance. I'd much rather retrieve parts to upgrade a trap than just to get the ability to purchase it to begin with. Beast from Beyond. The last movie our four characters visit. The big finale. And boy is it a map. Definitely a Zombies experience. Not only is this a rough map, it's an especially rough finale. The general idea is cool, albeit derivative of Moon, a planetary installation where you guessed it, there has been a zombie outbreak, but now there's a new enemy in the mix. Well, new if you've never played Ghost's Extinction Mode, the cryptids. And let me clarify, without counting the super Easter egg content, there's just nothing fun going on here. And let's talk about why I feel that way. Round 1 Zombies. Let me get this out of the way. I hate the way this map starts. Being chased down by the most terrifying dog variant since World at War, these guys will elbow drop you into the pits of this facility and gnaw on what remains. I kid you not, Umbrella Corps can only dream of creating hounds as effective as this. Now, if they were just like dogs in terms of when they showed up, I honestly don't think this would have made the list. Like, if they showed up on their own round and eventually worked their way into normal rounds, it'd be fine. Like, the devs knew what they had done considering they made you spawn with an AR, which, even with this, I feel out of my depth right away. But simply making their spawns what I said, this problem fades away. The venom-x. This may be another take where I'm in the minority, but I do not care for this wonder weapon. In terms of the visuals of it, it is very cool. I will not lie. but I don't love the playstyle you have to use in order to take advantage of it. And at its best, I feel like I'd rather use a Sentinel Mauler due to its overwhelming damage and ammo capacity. Like I've always said on the channel, Wonder Weapon should feel insanely strong, and to me, this just doesn't fit that description. Like, it's definitely not the worst Wonder Weapon we've seen, but to me, it should have been a lot better. For the final map's Wonder Weapon to be just kind of pretty good is not good enough. Just a total overhaul of this weapon would be a really welcome addition. Celebrity. Part of the icon factor that IW Zombies brought to the table was the celebrity cameos on each map, eventually becoming a playable character after beating the Easter egg. But this map stands alone in not having one at all. And I'm sorry, there's no reason that we couldn't have gotten someone. It just feels like that's one of the missing pieces to this puzzle of a map. Off the top of my head, someone like Sigourney Weaver, who is synonymous with science fiction from her work in the Alien franchise, which in my opinion would perfectly match the tone of the map, would be a great find here. But obviously this could be truly any celebrity, and yet they chose to do none of them besides a brief Hasselhoff audio section, which was likely repurposed or cut content from Spaceland, when he was the celebrity of that outing. To me, not having a celebrity appearance really diminishes some of the charm that should have been present in this map, and I believe by adding one we can alleviate some of the problems. Well, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to let me know what you thought down below and what kind of videos you'd like to see me do in the future. I am working on some new stuff to freshen things up, but I'd love to know what all of you think. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to stick around for future videos. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.